You know what, man? I think I'm just gonna go ahead and rename this series to songs I'm listening to, because last week, the week before that, and the week before that, I had about 10 songs on the list, and I just don't think it's fair to you guys. I think I'm being deceptive. I think I'm being that guy who's clickbaiting you. According to one comment I received last week, I'm being a view whore by putting 5 songs of the week in my title with no artist's name in that title. So let's go ahead and switch up the content here and name it Songs I'm Listening To. I also see this as a valuable piece of time for me to give my opinion on some of the things that are happening in the culture. Like some of the fuckery that happened this week with the Migos, MADEINTYO's XXL FREESTYLE, and throw my top 5 songs for the week in there for you guys to bump to your playlist. I don't want to harp on this for too long, but I do need to mention this. The Migos everyday struggle situation is the most hilarious thing I've seen all week. Not because I felt like Joe Budden might get slept. Now, I love the Migos. I love what they bring to the culture. I love what they do for the culture being hip-hop. I love all the dynamics that they add, but at the same time, when they got up, they looked like the most unintimidating trio of people I've ever seen in my life. Recap. I guess this mainly happened because of Joe Budden not wanting to continue interviewing guys who looked like they didn't want to be interviewed, which to some degree I understand. I mean, if people aren't going to be humble, they don't want to, you know, give you the time of day, then why should you want to interview them? I completely understand where he was coming from, and they did kind of give off that vibe during the interview. However, it's not what Joe did necessarily that triggered all this, it's what the Migos' response was, and the internet in general. Why was this such a big deal? I know Joe Budden was sorta disrespectful for what he did, and internet fans all over the world have literally been looking at this situation justifying what Joe Budden is doing, insulting Takeoff for his obvious dialect. Now, I don't know if it was his dialect or if it's because he just didn't understand that mumble rapping doesn't go over into real conversation. You just stop it at rap. And the DJ academics kind of telling them that, hey, I'm your biggest fan, kind of got annoying too. I can understand that. However, none of this compares to what the Migos did. Joe Budden throws his microphone down, and Quavo gets up and throws his down, and instead of, you know, I guess going up to Joe, he stops immediately and just folds his arms. Now, I didn't know responding to a hostile situation could easily be solved by folding your arm. Next time I get a gun pulled out on me, I'm just gonna fold my arms and see what happens. I mean, seriously, this is the most hilarious thing I've seen all week. I don't know what's funnier, Takeoff not knowing if he should stand up or sit down, Quavo folding his arms waiting for Joe Budden to put some respect on his name, or Offset for fixing his blouse instead of paying attention to the threat at hand. It's all very funny, and you guys, if you want to go check it out, go look it up. I'm not linking anything, but you guys gotta handle yourself better in these interviews, man. You gotta handle yourself, man. Don't let the world get to you. In other slight news, we have the very controversial freestyle from MADEINTYO, and it's not only controversial because he really destroyed his own freestyle by trying to go at old heads for not liking mumble rap. It's like dude tried to be inspirational, but then immediately killed his own idea.
Track slit, ooh, needle track fits, mumble rap. Old heads really want none of that. Yeah, they want none of that. Ooh, they want none of that. Old heads really want none of that. Yeah, they want none of that.
Yeah, I don't want none of that either. Can we safely change his name to Made in China? Just based off this freestyle alone, I can tell that MADEINTYO is the kind of guy that dips his potato chips in Nutella. What are you doing? This is like your one chance. All these freshmen are screwing themselves up. This is your one chance to prove the world how trash you may not be. Anyway, let's just get into the top tracks. I'm sick of this. I'm glad I got that out of my system because I don't want to harbor that deep seated emotion the entire video. And since this is songs of the week, I don't feel compelled to put 5 artists in here anymore. This is actually gonna work out for my benefit. First of all, Denzel Curry's new EP. Holy sh! Not only is this thing like ridiculously crazy, like right? Am I right? I'm right. Denzel Curry has been the most aggressive on this thing that he's been in a minute. And I know Imperial was an aggressive kind of album, but this one just goes in a different direction. It kind of explores more production aspects. It kind of allows Denzel Curry to be a little bit more off the wall with his voice, be a little bit more off the wall with, you know, how he would normally rap, like on ZELTRON Sick or on Bloodshed. You know, he really explores a lot of different flows. And in my opinion, he's like really aggressive, but he's also manages to be lyrical at the same time. And that's one of the things that I've always loved about Denzel Curry is the fact that he doesn't just play off the hype factor. He actually gets you out of your seat with a vibe of hype and gives you some really great bars to go along with it. To be honest, I wasn't expecting much from this thing, it being an EP and all, but I think it's definitely an amazing listening experience. And if you like Denzel Curry, you like hype rap, but you also want lyrics, go to Denzel Curry, because he's the only rapper in today's era that's gonna give you that. Wait, let me just play you this one line. You could be a statue and you still won't be as hard as me. If that's not like the funniest line out, oh my. Next person I wanted to shout out on this list is Vince Staples for his new project, The Big Fish Theory. In my opinion, one of the most experimental hip-hop rap albums I've heard this year. It does have a lot of West Coast to it at the same time, but one track particularly that I wanted to shout out that I cannot stop going back to is Big Fish, and the other track, Yeah Right. After continuous listens to Big Fish, it has the strongest West Coast vibe out of the entire album in my opinion. You think because it's so electronic and it's so, I guess, watery when it comes to the production that it's not that same West Coast vibe that a lot of the other West Coast artists have released, but hearing Juicy J on the hook really drives that message home that this is supposed to be a West Coast vibe. And Vince's lyrics in there are nothing to, you know, laugh at. Vince usually gives you some, he's got a certain standard for the amount of bars that he normally gives you, and he doesn't really surpass that on this album, but at the same time I think it's still a dope song, and I think it's something that people will love to listen to, me included. There was a version of this that didn't include Juicy J's on the hook, but I'm glad he included it for the album because it definitely was needed. And the other song that I wanted to include on this thing is Yeah Right, that features Kendrick Lamar, the biggest surprise on this entire album. I was so happy to hear Kendrick Lamar on this thing, man. It definitely got the dick leaking. I'm not saying pause. It's just crazy what this dude is able to do with any beat. Like, kill me. Dude was giving reference to the time in the track in his verse. Really. New York niggas be like dead ass. LA niggas be like going to dead homies. 211 got bread on me. Temporary pimp, nah, don't remember them. If you thought we were done after that, you are sorely mistaken. Next person on this list is Tabby. Yes, he just released his breakout mixtape called White Trash, and I thought it was one of the greatest mixtapes I've heard in a minute. You listen to something more and more, people think you have more of appreciation for it. I don't usually, but for this one I'd actually do. The amount of flows that Tabby explores on this project is crazy. Cranston and White Trash being my favorite, and 1227. Literally just make this thing a joy to listen to. And then when you find out that a good chunk of the album is produced by a guy who's only 14 years old, it makes you want to reevaluate your existence. People are really doing things out here, man, and I definitely enjoyed this project. Cranston being one of the ones that I enjoy the most because it's so braggadocious and fillery, but it's filled with good filler. That was a lot of fill, I just said. I'm taking swings with dusters dumped in lemon lime. Catch a Sprite from the most feisty white since feta lime. Why you gotta do me like that? I really don't have anybody else to shout out, but I do kind of want to shout out one more person, if I can find one. I want to give you somebody that you really haven't heard, but somebody that you kind of do know about at the same time, if that makes any sense. If it doesn't, go jump off a bridge. You know what? I'm gonna do it. I didn't like DJ Khaled's album that much, but Pusha T and Jadakiss need some attention. They need that shine. Their performance on Good Man was the greatest thing that album has ever done. Putting those two on the same track was the best decision DJ Khaled's ever made in his entire life. The two of them comparing their street life to the industry life is the greatest thing I've ever heard. Please go listen to this song. I know you're not gonna like this DJ Khaled album. I know you're not gonna like it, but listen to Good Man. It's the best song on the album. I don't care what anyone tells you. Anyone who says any other song is better than this song, you need to go ahead and just take them to a chemical plant and just leave them there. And let the Lord do his work. Other than that, I would go ahead and shout out the new Fleet Foxes album as well. I think you guys should listen to that. Maybe you like it, maybe you don't. Maybe you like alternative kind of music, maybe you don't. But Fleet Foxes is kind of like a folk. Fleet Foxes is kind of like a folk group. I love them. I've been messing with them since Blue Ridge Mountain, and I had to listen to all their other projects at the same time. So definitely go check them out. I really like their project. Would have done a review to it, but I think I'm a little biased when it comes to rock reviews. Biased when it comes to alternative albums. I kind of like give everything a pass. Although there are some things that I didn't like, I just don't think I could feel myself critiquing it because I don't know enough about it. But I would recommend it if you're trying to get into something new. Enjoy this picture of me while I explain this point. What I meant to say basically about the rock album aspect, or not even rock, but genres that kind of pertain to other artists, like Fleet Foxes, maybe some other alternative groups out there. Not to say I couldn't review them, but I don't feel as comfortable reviewing them because there's a lot of other elements. Hip-hop is a genre where I know exactly where to go with my critiques. And since there are so many more elements to other genres of music, I would have to familiarize myself 100% with those other elements before I could say, you know, you should take my opinion seriously as a critic. That has been Shawn C's what am I calling top songs of the week? Songs of the week. I really hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, go ahead, leave a like rating down below. I'm going to enjoy this new format and continue playing around with it until my heart is content. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, you know what to do. I think I already said that. Oh, and I'm out. I'm in your face now though.